Your members usually tell you they're leaving long before they actually leave. The question is, are you listening? Hey there, marketers. Welcome to the Son of a Pitch podcast, where we break down practical marketing strategies so that you can actually use them. I'm your host, Kenneth Spresley. And before we get started, just a quick programming note. Son of a Pitch is moving to Mondays at 3 p.m. Central. So make sure you're subscribed and join me every Monday afternoon for a new episode. This episode is being brought to you by CGE Insights. CGE Insights takes scattered member data from the tools associations already use, conducts member mapping, identifies disengagement, and offers suggestions to re-engage those members at risk. You can learn more or schedule a demo at cgeinsights.com. Let's get into the episode. Here's the uncomfortable truth about member retention. By the time a member tells you they aren't renewing, you're already too late. The decision to leave usually isn't made when the renewal invoice arrives. It's built gradually. One missed event, then another, fewer website visits, less interaction. A member who used to participate starts becoming harder to find. Nothing dramatic happens. That's exactly why it's so easy to miss. We tend to think about membership in very clear categories: active, lapsed, renewed, canceled. But those are statuses. They don't necessarily describe the relationship. Think about a member who hasn't canceled. The dues are paid. Your record in AMS says they're active. Technically, everything looks fine. But maybe they haven't attended an event in 8 months. They haven't clicked on anything you've sent recently. They haven't returned to the website. They haven't participated in the community. Are they really an engaged member? Or are they an active record representing a relationship that's slowly disappearing? That's the distinction associations need to start recognizing. One of the most important signals isn't inactivity. It's change in activity. Imagine someone who only attends one conference every year. That's their normal behavior. You shouldn't suddenly label that person disengaged because they didn't attend the webinar last month. Now imagine another member. They attended 3 webinars last year. They regularly visited your website. They clicked through newsletters. They attended the annual conference, and then suddenly nothing. That's different. The question isn't simply, did this member engage? The question is, has this member's normal behavior changed? That's where the signal lives. This is also why associations should be careful about relying on one metric. Someone doesn't open an email. That doesn't mean they're leaving. They skip an event. That doesn't mean they're dissatisfied. They haven't logged into the website recently. Still not enough. But when several behaviors begin changing together, now you have something worth paying attention to. Maybe website activity declines, event participation stops, email interaction decreases, community activity disappears. Each signal alone may mean very little. Together, they begin telling a story. That's why context matters. One of the most interesting places to look for disengagement is broken habits. People create patterns. Maybe a member attends your annual conference every year, and this year they don't. Maybe they consistently participate in a chapter, then participation stops. Maybe they've downloaded every quarterly industry report for 2 years, then suddenly they don't. That doesn't automatically mean they're at risk, but it creates a reason to pay attention. Because sometimes what someone stops doing tells you more than what they do. And this is where organizations can move beyond simply tracking activity and begin understanding behavior. Not every disengagement signal is digital. Sometimes members tell you exactly what's wrong. A support request, a complaint after an event, a poor survey response, a conversation with chapter leadership, a comment that says, I don't really know what I'm getting from a membership anymore. Those signals matter. But here's where associations sometimes struggle. That information may live in someone's inbox, or inside a survey platform, or in meeting notes, or simply in the memory of the staff member who had the conversation, which means the organization technically received the signal, but never connected it to anything else happening with that member. The data existed, the context didn't. There's another important distinction here. The goal isn't to create a giant list labeled members who are going to leave. Human behavior isn't that predictable. Someone can become less active and still renew. Someone highly engaged can leave because they change careers. We're dealing with people. What the signals can give you is a reason to investigate, a reason to reach out, a reason to ask, has something changed? That's a much healthier way to approach member intelligence. You're not trying to predict everyone's future with absolute certainty. You're trying to recognize when the relationship may need attention. And here's where the strategy becomes important. Let's say you identify someone whose engagement has declined. What happens next? Do you send them another generic email? Don't forget about your member benefits. Probably not. If someone is already disengaging, sending more of the same thing they're not engaging with anyway isn't much of a strategy. Instead, the response should help you understand what's changed. Maybe their professional priority shifted. Maybe they haven't found relevant programming. Maybe they joined for networking and never made meaningful connections. Maybe they're overwhelmed and simply don't know where to begin. The signal tells you where to look. The conversation helps you understand what to do. Here's today's pitch. Don't wait for cancellation to tell you a member disengaged. Watch for three things. First, changes in normal behavior. Second, multiple signals moving in the same direction. And third, broken engagement habits. The goal isn't to predict exactly who's going to leave. It's to recognize when a relationship may be weakening while there's still an opportunity to strengthen it. Because the best time to win back a member isn't after they're gone. It's while they're still there. Next week, we're going to take this conversation one step further. We've talked about engagement scores. We've talked about early warning signals. Now we're going to talk about what happens when associations stop simply reacting to what members have already done and start using their data to make smarter decisions about what to do next. We'll explore the difference between reporting and intelligence and why that distinction matters for the future of association growth. Remember, new episodes of Son of a Pitch now will drop Mondays at 3 p.m. Central. This episode was brought to you by CGE Insights. You can learn more at cgeinsights.com. If you know an association executive, membership professional, or marketing leader who needs to hear this conversation, share this episode with them. I'll see you next week.